What's up guys, welcome back to Pat Outdoors. Today we're hopping back on the Tuttio project. On the last video with this bike, we installed the Fardriver ND72530 controller upgrade, along with the Sotion FW23 motor upgrade. And we got this bike up to 59 miles per hour, but I roasted the Amorge 72 volt 20 amp hour battery that we had in there. I simply pushed it beyond its rated capabilities just for an experiment. I just want to see how fast we can get this thing to go. I'm not really too upset about it since that's kind of my fault, and that battery was over 2 years old anyway, so it's time to move on to even more of a power upgrade. Here's the current state of the Tuttio Soleil. I took the handlebar off since we threw it on the giveaway bike, which I'll actually be delivering myself to the winner, like 4 hours north. I'm driving up to New Jersey to deliver that bike myself instead of shipping it. It was pretty much gonna cost me the same in freight anyway. I figured I'd meet the guy. But this thing's got the ride or die fork tubes on there, Electro & Co. ETM V2 style front fender and front plate. It's got a custom seat cover by Bolts & Volts, Suron extended rear fender. Wheels are blacked out. Got the black rear shock on there from Ride or Die as well. Here's how I have the Fardriver controller mounted. Got a smaller rear sprocket on there. And then we're actually gonna try to cram a 76 volt 20 amp hour battery from Electro & Co. on this thing. And I'm also gonna throw the stock RTR handlebar since I upgraded the one on my RTR to a high bar. And this one's gonna be a lot beefier than the stock Tuttio bar as well. And of course, I also ordered the matching charger, which is by Electro, 88.2 volts, 5 amp charger, along with the battery leads for the controller. I actually have no idea if this battery is gonna fit in this frame. I haven't seen anybody do this before, but I am hoping so. The online measurements are within 1/8 of an inch of the clearance. I'm pretty much just winging it on this one. I also didn't feel like waiting 3 to 4 weeks for the Amorge battery. And I actually really like the look of these Electro EON batteries, how it has a metal casing on it. So this battery has a minimum voltage of 63 volts, max voltage of 88.2 volts, and max continuous output of 150 amps. So it should definitely put out quite a bit more power than the Amorge battery that we had on there previously. Yeah, the ETM RTR handlebars just definitely seem like they have much heavier duty construction than the stock bars, so I'm glad we're throwing this on. You know what, while we're at it, let's throw an LED headlight on there. This is just like a rechargeable LED light that I got from Amazon for like 40 bucks. I like using this because I don't have to do any sort of wiring. It's just USB rechargeable on the side here, and it's got a couple different modes. It's even got a strobe mode, which I'm likely not gonna be using, but it lasts a really long time. I think I only charge it like once every couple months. If you are interested in checking out any of the parts that I'm using for this project, I'll have everything linked in the description below. Now let's figure out what I've been super anxious about. Let's see if the battery actually fits this frame. Please. Oh no. Oh no. Total, it's like a 1/4 inch too wide. Well, damn. I guess I'll use that battery for my SX500 and order another battery for this bike. So the limiting factor is the width. The Tuttio opening is just 5 7/8 wide. And then at the bottom, it tapers down to 5 3/4. And the EON battery is just simply too wide by like 1/8 of an inch to fit up top. And I'm not gonna modify the frame and weaken it just to try to cram that battery in there. I'd rather do this right. So back to the drawing board, we're gonna order a different battery for this thing. Since it's gonna be a little while till we get our replacement battery for our Tuttio project, I'm gonna head over to Maryland and meet up with Danny to get some replacement parts for this Talaria XXX, which I found at my local junkyard. So yes, I got this Talaria for free. So make sure you stay tuned to this channel if you want to get the detailed video on that. Danny also has a modified Tuttio that goes like 60 miles per hour with a 60 volt setup. So we're going to be riding that today. So I can't wait to show you guys more details on that. So this Tuttio has the Fardriver ND72530B controller. And then this is the Amorge 60 volt 24 amp hour battery, continuous power output of 150 amps. Yeah. So it should put out quite a bit. And then this has the Sotion FW23 motor, just like on my Tuttio. So it's not gonna be a full charge, starting at 63.6 volts. Is that like 70% charge, something like that? Yeah. One thing this bike has that mine doesn't is this domino throttle though. Very little slop. I really like how it feels as far as the tension. So I definitely have to upgrade the one on my bike. 450 phase amps, 134 continuous. Okay, so this is continuous output 8,000 watts right now. Cool. Oh, it's definitely got the torque. Yo, this thing's got a lot of torque down low.
Yeah, and the thing is, I kept trying to smooth it out, and then I got it to where I like it.
Yeah.
And then my daughter, she was like, no, it needs more grit down the bottom.
Needs more grit?
I tried to smooth it out like the EBMX. This thing's smooth.
Yeah.
It turned all the way up.
Man, look at that view. It's a nice little fun bike, man.
Impressive for the price.
That's a perfect way to describe a Tuttio's. You know, as far as the brakes, they're not like cable brakes. There's definitely a lot more than like a mountain bike brake too. It's a pit bike brake.
To tell you the truth, I like the stock suspension of that over the XXX stock suspension.
This is essentially what they use on the Razor Pro spec. But really, it's pretty similar to like the ETM V2 fork that Electro and company offer. It's the same fork tubes.
Oh, okay.
Same exact size and everything.
That makes sense.
You usually have to buy that fork upgrade for a Razor for like 400 bucks, but it comes stock on a Tuttio. For a stock bike, the Tuttio really is pretty impressive. And it's got a 14-inch front and 12-inch rear wheel set, which makes it a pretty good budget bike. What's a good contender though is the new 60 volt ETM RTR Lite. Yeah. You know, that is an unbelievable bike for $2,200 also, which has a the beefier fork tubes on there.
It's hard to beat for that price.
For that price, right. It's the same thing with the Tuttio. It's like if you don't have $2,200, $1,300, I think this is still, to this day, the best bike for the money.
Best bang for the buck. If you can afford it, go to the RTR. It's more refined than what you see here. I'm not a big fan of how this frame is built, debating whether to do a Supermoto setup on it or not.
Is it Ride or Die?
Yeah, they're out of stock right now, but...
Come on, Ride or Die, be in stock already, because I do want a set of those as well for my Tuttio.
What do you think power-wise from your 72 to this 60?
That's hard to say, because like torque is a combination of amps and volts. You get more RPMs with the voltage, with the higher voltage, so I could get technically a little bit more speed, but this has so much torque down low. You know, when you're going like 10 miles an hour and you twist the throttle a little bit, this has noticeable more torque than my bike. But a lot of that also has to do with the stock sprocket still being in place. But I have the smaller sprocket on mine, so I have less low-end torque than most Tuttios. Because I wanted that higher top speed. I just wanted to touch 60 something. There's a nice little trail right by the water. Damn, that Talaria's got some juice. I want to ride that thing. Too bad this thing's only down to 59.7 volts, so it's like less than half charge now.
What did you hit top? Can't see it because I got my...
I went 53 miles per hour. This is his daughter's bike, who is less than 100 pounds, so I have no doubt that she hits 60 miles per hour with this thing when it's fully charged. If this thing had like 67 volts,
I know.
it'll probably do like 58 with me on there.
Cut out on me at like 75 mile an hour, but then it comes right back on.
The EBMX controller wants to pull more amps, but the battery can't supply, and the BMS just kind of freaks out.
24 kilowatts.
So this is a 2024 Talaria XXX.
With the EXT Ferro shocks, we have a Chai battery, the Titan X, 72 volt. With the EBMX V3, and I put the V2 heatsink on it because they don't supply the blue as of yet. We have an XLB60 race motor. Knowing what I know now, I would have went with the core motor.
Why is that?
It has more torque
for
the lower end. But I want to put this up against another one with the core versus the race motor, because the race motor does have higher kV and higher RPM.
Right.
And they're saying with a bigger battery, the higher kV would be better. Tapia seat.
Yeah, looks comfy.
The Warp 9 60-tooth sprocket on the back with a 420 chain. The Gigo headlight on it. I wired it into the sock switch so you can turn it on.
Nice. Well, we already know how fast this thing is capable of going. You want to tell me about stopping power?
We did floating rotors from Warp 9 with TRP brakes.
4-piston. That's nice.
Brakes, they do great at 80 miles an hour. EXT rear shock. A lot of the bolts are from titanium Suron. Blue caps, Warp 9 pegs.
That is freaking sweet, man. That is a nice build. Now, are you sure you want to let me ride this?
Yeah.
So it's at 75% charge right now. And then are there different modes?
0, reverse. Now, if you stop and you hold this in, it should go into race mode. 1, 2, and 3, 7.5 kilowatts, 12, and then 15. That's what I've been riding on today. So far.
This controller has the wheelie assist mode?
It does. It does. I haven't had a lot of seat time with it yet.
Yeah.
I just changed it out.
Yeah.
And then had to hardwire the wiring in because EBMX didn't have plug and play at the time available.
Wow. So you did this on your own?
This is hardwired in, yes.
Wow.
So I had to take 2 wiring diagrams and then figure out what wires went to what for throttle, etc. Race mode, then you go to 20, 25, and 30.
But that's beyond your battery's capability at this point.
Beyond it, I don't expect it to hit 30.
Yeah.
I just put it there to see if it would do it. My understanding from Bridger, you want to keep your motor phase amps at 1,000 or you want to max those out because that's where you're getting your torque down low. Wheel lift assist, 20% modulation and more closer to 80 to 90% for the rise aggression to get a whole shot, not a wheelie. So you can use this in 2 different ways. You can use it for a whole shot or wheelie mode.
Whole shot because it can keep the front end down.
And just leave.
Right. It'll distribute just enough to keep it down a certain angle.
Correct. You can actually have the timer pull power for the first 10 seconds, and then after that, after you're up to speed, it'll give you full power.
Oh, so it's like boost by gear on
exactly
a race car. You're spinning too much in first or second gear. Once you get into third or fourth, you just pull full boost on the highway type of thing.
Exactly.
Cool.
So you can launch it, say, we'll talk turbo cars, say 7 pounds of boost.
Right.
When you hit third, it'll give you all 12.
Got it. Fully understood. That's awesome. That is a really advanced controller.
It is. Yeah. It is.
Yo, this thing is crazy. Holy shit. That is a crazy amount of power. I have not even fully twisted the throttle just yet.
Ridiculous, isn't it?
Oh, it's not the torque down low, but it's like how much power it has when you're already going 40 and you just crack the throttle, it gets to 70 so quickly and so smoothly too.
The wind up is so smooth. If you want,
Yeah.
go all the way up. I'll catch up with you eventually.
Okay, we heard the man. Honestly, I just don't feel comfortable fully stretching out somebody's bike like that I've never ridden before. So I don't know if I'm gonna wanna go over 80, but this thing's got it easily. Up to even there, I've only done maybe 2/3 throttle and went 76 miles per hour before I let off in such a short distance. So this is a really impressive bike. This is definitely the fastest Talaria XXX I've ever ridden. That is so addicting, man. I could just keep doing pulls back and forth on this thing.
I have.
I think I'm gonna upgrade my motor. The wife wanted a new couch and a new mattress for the house, and I think we're gonna have to delay that to next month because we have to go with a motor upgrade.
All right, there we go.
Bailey, if you're watching this, it's his fault that we have to delay it 1 extra month.
Hey, I'll take the credit for that.
This thing is fucking crazy.
Other bikes.
I've ridden a lot of bikes.
What about your 88 volt?
My 88 volt Extreme Wheel ES versus this thing?
Yeah.
Come on, man. Don't make me say it.
Even out of the hole?
This thing's got it by a long shot. I mean, that thing's only putting out 10 kilowatt stock and it's geared for torque. But this thing, it easily gets up to ridiculous speeds like that, but it's not so scary down low.
It has that smooth throttle.
Right, right. So I like how it escalates it progressively. Oh shit, I forgot I came to your house for stock Talaria parts.
Right?
You got distracted with all your bikes and shit. I can't be on this.
No.
I'm gonna buy too much stuff. Give me that Tuttio back. What a nice day to be out. Well, thank you for letting me ride that, sir. That is an impressive machine. Unfortunately, things don't always quite work out as planned with these projects, but I am gonna get this Tuttio to go over 60, 65 miles per hour reliably. I think I am gonna go with the Amorge 72 volt with the peak output of 225 amps. 175 amp continuous output. I think that one's using Molicel. Or let me know if you guys have a specific battery that you'd like to recommend for my setup that's more readily available that I don't have to wait a month to get. If you enjoyed today's video, do me a favor and hit that like button. If you like this kind of content, want to keep up with the Tuttio project or any of my other projects or the free junkyard Talaria build, consider subscribing to this channel. But this is going to be it for today. Thank you for watching.